This episode is sponsored by quality and innovative Game Bore cartridges. Game Bore shot shells are the choice of world champion David Radulovich and 26 times world champion George Digweed MBE. White Gold and Dark Storm contain precision-made diamond shot, manufactured exclusively in England, and coupled with high-performance smooth velocities, providing less felt recoil. If you're serious about your scores, you have to shoot with the best. When every clay counts, make sure you never compromise. Game Bore is the most decorated FITASC and sporting clay shot shells in the sport's history. Available now throughout the U.S., exclusively from KL Ammo. Find them online at www.gameborus.com. Game Bore are simply the champion's choice. Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast with your hosts, Jason Rambo and Sean Alley. We bring you all things sporting clays. Our focus is bringing new shooters to the sport and helping all shooters by giving you the most useful info from coaches, pro shooters, gun clubs, product and service specialists. The Dead Pair Podcast, what every shotgun shooter wants to hear.
Paul?
Dead Pair.
Hey everyone, welcome to the lost episode of the Dead Pair Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rambo. With me, the man that's large and in charge, Mr. Alley.
I am here.
Do you want to explain the lost episode?
Yeah, so the lost episode, we had what we call a technical difficulty.
Okay.
The first podcast got eaten by a...
Stop now or your microphone's getting shut off.
The last recording of the two guests we have here got abducted by aliens and was taken away and was never seen again. There's the answer.
So we'll leave that at that. Anyway, so in studio with us, the former National FITASC champion, Mr. Dan Bailey. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what's up, Jason? Hey, Sean.
And his partner in crime, Christina Loundenslager.
I think,
Hey, guys.
I think it's more crime than partner.
Okay, well, whatever. However you want to tell the story, we'll let him do it.
Well, hey, listen, for those that don't know, this is the gang from the Eagle's Nest, one of the prettiest clubs currently in Ohio. Dan, you've worked your butt off over there, man. That place is, just love shooting there. It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun.
It's like Pebble Beach, but with a shotgun. So.
Oh, it's not that good. Thank you.
Well, we think highly of it. It's a great place to go and shoot, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've bragged about you more than once. So,
And I appreciate it.
hey, listen, we got a ton of questions, ton of stuff we're going to get into tonight. So, Dan, I want to start with you, if you don't mind. Give us a little bit of background. How did you get started in sporting clays?
Bored with skeet. And a friend took me to Sporting Clays grounds, and I fell in love with it instantly. Shot skeet doubles one more time in my career and haven't shot any skeet registered since.
Wow. What year was that, would you say?
It was like 22 or 23 years ago.
Wow.
Yes, I'm old.
Been a minute.
Incredible.
It's been a minute.
Well, Christina, how did you get hook, line, and sinkered into this?
It was actually at my brother's bachelor party, the first part of it, of course. Yeah.
Had to clarify
We
that.
went and shot a 50 bird hand-thrown course in a little town of Michigan. And I kind of fell in love with it. A couple of older guys invited my dad and I to another club that had some automated traps and went from there.
Wow. How long ago was that, would you say?
That was probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
I've been shooting competitively probably the last 6 years.
Nice.
Gotcha. Well, I tell you what, Christina, yeah, I know.
It's not like we're running a podcast.
No,
here.
I didn't know if you were done or not. Sorry.
I didn't want to interrupt your phone time.
So
or anything.
we know Dan's a FITASC guy. What's your preference when you like to shoot?
I would definitely pick FITASC as well.
Okay, 'cause
I
I
don't
know
mind
that's what you
shooting.
guys are
Yeah.
known for. Absolutely.
I like shooting sporting, but FITASC is my go-to for sure.
Gotcha. That's the most fun. I know. Dan's got a saying. Go ahead and say it, Dan.
Sporting Clays is just something to do while you're waiting to shoot FITASC.
Right, there it is.
You know, Dan, that kind of leads into my next question. You built your club around FITASC to begin with. What is it about FITASC that you love so much more than sporting clays?
Oh, I don't get bored. There's no repetition. You know, you don't have to break 3 pairs or 4 pairs. You have to break the E target maybe twice on that peg. And I just like the longer, harder targets. I like the creativity. Yeah, I don't know. I like the timing. A lot of people complain it's slow. I kind of like it slow. I'm not in any hurry to go anywhere. I'm here doing what I love doing.
Right.
So why do I have to be in a rush?
Right.
Gotcha.
That's well said.
Well, and speaking of that, so in addition to Sporting Clays and FITASC, you guys were the first club in the country to throw AFS, right? And of course, if nobody's heard the story,
Don't.
let me go ahead and go down. Let me go ahead and listen.
No.
Let me do that. Jason Rambo, our very own Jason Rambo, was the first guy to ever shoot at an AFS event.
Sean, you're gonna really tick off every statistician out there. Just don't go there.
Well, I'm just waiting to see the plaque because, I mean, the thing's got to be the size of a dump truck
right.
that's coming. We're still waiting on Mark to send you.
Baltazar said that he lost it in Hillary's email. So,
So do you guys? I mean, you guys are still continuing to do AFS events. How's that been going for you?
I think it's been going well. People enjoy it. And to me, I hope it grows, but also I think it leads them to go, oh, maybe because right across the other side of the path is FITASC going on.
Right.
And I'm hoping that people will shoot both.
yeah,
It'll bring more people to FITASC. The FITASC people will go, oh, that looks like fun over there. I want to shoot that X-Bird.
right.
Let's shoot over there. So let's shoot American Field Sporting. I don't know. We're going to shoot the Nationals here in, 3-4 days. We're heading to Chicago to Northbrook to shoot the Nationals. So we're looking forward to that because we never get to shoot it.
Right. You always have to set the targets and put the event on. Right.
Got to do work.
So that raises a question of the 4 fields. There's red, white, blue, and green. You guys always primarily throw the white. Is there a reason why you haven't thrown the others yet?
It works really well in our fields. It's pretty similar to a FITASC style.
Right.
So we kind of enjoy that a little bit more. But it doesn't take quite as many stands and stuff. We can throw hula hoops out there.
Right.
Shoot from a hoop.
Gotcha. So, Christina, of all the disciplines, sporting and FITASC and AFS, what's your favorite? Which one do you enjoy most?
FITASC is my favorite. And then it would probably be a big tie between the AFS white and sporting, honestly. And don't discredit super sporting. Because if they're super sporting at a bigger shoot, we usually will shoot that as well.
Yeah, I do enjoy super sporting.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. And of course, both of you guys are coaches, and you've produced some pretty good names. You worked with Sam LaCroix, and he's down there shooting for Alabama,
And Christina.
and Christina.
Jonathan Rumberger.
Jonathan Rumbarger, John, my little bro.
And a bunch of people you know but don't know I work with them, probably.
So, Christina, how did you get started with Dan coaching you?
I shot with him at the Gammill Cup a while ago. It's when I started shooting competitively, really. It's been about 6 years now. And I met him there. We shot FITASC together. And he was telling a couple of guys that I was riding around with and starting to shoot with that I had really good hands and eyes, and he would like to work with me. And they suggested that maybe I'd take a lesson from him, so that's what I did. I went to the state shoot because Dan said, come to my state shoot, and we'll talk more then. So I kind of followed him around until, he's shaking his head yes, until he agreed. And a couple months later, I took my first lesson with him, and his wife, we kind of all become really good friends, and I started coming down almost every weekend just to shoot and hang out with him and help him at a club that he was running then.
We can't get rid of her.
I was going to say,
They've kind of adopted me.
she's definitely a part of the family now, right?
All right.
Yeah, big part. No doubt.
Well, while we're on the subject of coaching, before we dive into some of the other stuff, you're both coaches, but Christina, I want to start with you. There seems to be this major gap between SCTP and the NSCA. Mm-hmm. What is something that you think we can do to kind of bridge that gap a little bit?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Because there's a lull time with kids growing up in college and getting out of college and trying to move on, but you just kind of have to make them fall in love, not make them, but allow them to fall in love with the game so that they can come back when they can afford it maybe then.
Right.
So good coaching helps. Good coaching and any help that they can get during their SCTP time, I think helps them come back. So we should try to support the youth in any way we possibly can.
Absolutely. Dan, what's your take on that?
My biggest thing is there is that gap. Most of them are going to go to college. Most of them aren't going to shoot for a college team. If they do, great. They'll probably stay in the game, or after they get married and get a job, maybe they'll come back.
Right.
But I think the NSCA needs to figure out some way to let them know that we'll be here when you get back.
Right.
When you want to come back to shooting, this is what we do. You want to be competitive. This is another way to be competitive. We sanction it. But I'm not sure how they're reaching out. I need to find out more, actually, probably myself personally, on how the NSCA is spending the money that we give them to go to these kids and say, hey, we know you might not shoot for a few years, but we'll be here when you get back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer either. I don't know if there's one answer for the whole thing.
You know, we had Kevin DeMichael on the show, and he raised a really good point. The biggest age gap we're missing is between, like 20 and 30.
I agree.
Which is, they're in college, the cord's been cut, right? They're not on mom and dad's purse anymore.
Right.
And they have a choice. They can either buy shotgun shells or eat that week. Yeah. And so, yeah, we do lose them. Now, unfortunately, we've lost the big tournament that was coming up here in Ohio. That kind of payout, which was the largest current payout in sporting clays. Do you think tournaments like that would afford the ability, if they can reach that level, to stay in the sport and keep shooting through those years? Do you think that's maybe part of a solution?
I don't. I really don't.
You think it's just going to have to be one of those life things that they got to get through that time and then come back to the sport then?
Well, a big payout is going to go to the guys, the top 10, 20, 30 guys in the country that are going to win that.
Yeah.
The kid that's 20 or 30 doesn't have $400 to spend for that shoot.
Right.
He might have 70 though.
Right.
And win enough Lewis money or his class to shoot the next week. I don't think these big money tournaments help the sport grow in any way.
Okay.
I really don't.
At least not when the big purse is all the way on the top.
Yeah,
You
that's something I think. Yeah, you're right, Christine. I think that's something that we'd like to see, those big purses, but maybe like drop it through the classes a little bit.
Yeah, you can't forget the people that are there to support the clubs every week. Mm-hmm. And most of those people are 50 to 75, maybe 80 years old. Those are the people that keep those clubs open every week.
Well, hey, you guys put on tournaments. You're going to know these numbers better than I would. And I don't want to put anything that's not true. So, obviously, when we sign up, the biggest class we see is Masters. But would you agree that the majority of the tournament is basically AA through E, right?
Yeah, you could look at it that way, but I look at it differently. I look at it's more veteran through super veteran. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what class they're in. The veterans and up through super veteran and whatever we have above that now.
They're senior, super veteran, and legacy now.
Those are the guys that show up every month,
mm-hmm.
and they support the club every time. I don't really look at it from the class point of view. I look at class point of view when I'm looking at scores. Okay, was the course fair? But when it comes to money, you got to look at the veterans. They're the ones that pay the bills.
Yeah. In fact, Sean and I shot the Ohio Cup with an elderly couple that's retired. I mean, you guys know who they are, but I'm not going to say it on the air. But that's what they do for the retirement. I mean, they just absolutely enjoy it. And, yeah, we all want to shoot better, right? I mean, everybody wants to shoot better. But they really weren't concerned with this. They were having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, when this elderly lady, when she swept the station, you'd have thought she just hit a jackpot.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Which is awesome. Because they're in their late 70s. They're retired. They've done well for themselves. They're out enjoying themselves.
It's like date night.
But,
Yeah.
But how many people at that age are out on a golf course and get that excited? Never. You don't see that. That's what I think the cool thing is about the sport, right? I mean...
Yeah, well, when you're golfing, you don't get to shoot anything.
I was going to say.
That's right.
At least you get to pull the trigger
Right.
when you're shooting.
Well, unless you golf the way I do, but that's not legal, so we won't talk about that. So.
I don't even think you can consider that golf, honestly, but whatever. It's all good. Why am I getting the hairy eyeball?
I'm shutting his microphone
It's his
off.
own
I'm
version.
going to do it.
Shoot. Well, all right, so backing up for a minute, I do want to talk a little bit more about the club and Eagle's Nest. I mean, Jason and I started shooting there when you guys first opened, and we've watched the transition from what you guys, all the work you've been putting into it, all the changes to the course. I mean, it's really been an evolution, and it's, again, like Jason said, it's one of the nicest clubs, I think, in Ohio. And Dan, honestly, you've got probably one of the best reputations around for target setting. I mean, you just kind of have that knack. We love it. We love it.
I really enjoy it. I love putting something that 25, 30 yards that they scratch their head about.
Yep. And he does. Oh, he does.
That is, between that, coaching, shooting probably comes third or fourth somewhere down the road for me. I absolutely am living my dream.
That's awesome. And what are your future plans? I mean, at this point, I think it's a wonderful club, but obviously there's probably going to be more coming. So what's your...
Well, hold on a
You
minute,
should
Sean.
probably start with saying that it wasn't even supposed to be an open member club. It was supposed to be a training facility. That was your original dream.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
This is where I think David's in trouble. Because I had the same idea, and I understand what David's doing, and I look forward to going out there and seeing David's place, but it just snowballed on us. And all of a sudden, I'm building a sporting clays course. I'm like, I don't even like this game. But future plans, I have all kinds of future plans. That's one thing nice about having a piece of property. If you have the money and you can dream it, you can make it happen.
Yep.
So as we make money, I dream more and I make it happen. So I don't really want to say per se, but I have many things, including, I don't even want to say. It's been 4 years.
Right.
And you've seen what it was like when it was first opened.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you see what it's like now.
Yep.
I'm definitely not getting any richer, but my property's getting nicer.
You are definitely reinvesting back into the club. There's no doubt about that.
That's what I was going to say is, hold on a minute here. He just expanded on his clubhouse. That is gorgeous, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And that was all my wife. It was my idea that we needed to do it because we needed a bigger clubhouse, but she designed and everything. If it looks pretty, it's my wife because I don't care if it looks pretty.
Right.
I just need it to function.
Right. Well, the time and effort was well spent because it's something to be proud of. I mean, that place is, wow. The inside of that clubhouse is beautiful. So as far as future plans go, I know you don't want to dabble in it too much because you don't know for sure, but can you see more fields? Can you see more courses? Or do you think it's just maybe expanding on what you already have?
And we'll be doing a little bit of that for our shoot in July, 8th through the 11th. You'll be shooting, if you shoot small bore FITASC, you'll be shooting somewhere on the property you've never shot before. I've opened up a new 50-bird course just in the last week. We've opened up 2 more shooting stands for the sporting clays that nobody's ever shot on.
Nice.
So it just keeps, and I'm looking at a piece of property to add on to it. I don't want to get too deep into that, but trust me, there's building a bridge. I got all kinds of ideas. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
You kind of are, yeah. If I wrote down every little idea that he has throughout the day, I'm not even joking, the list would be miles long. He is constantly trying to see the future and do better on it.
You know, that's kind of cool that we're touching base on this because my next question was for you, Christina, is how do you put up with him every... No, okay, let me back up.
Rephrase.
As a manager for Eagles Nest.
Right?
You said it right the first time.
But no, as a club manager, I mean, I can see where Dan is very demanding in order to make his vision happen. And, you know, like you said, he's always coming up with new things and new ideas and new ways. And for you, what's it like day to day? I mean, is it a constant struggle to give him what he needs, or is it more like you got to just see his vision and kind of go with it type thing? Or
yeah, he'll come to me with an idea, and then he'll say, "That's kind of what I want. Now you put it together, make it look pretty. Do this, do that." But
that's advertising.
Yeah, that's for advertising, and I have to remind him that I do not have a degree in any of that.
But she's very good at it.
So, but some days are difficult. Our vision, we both care the same for the club. So the vision in that maybe is pretty close to the same, and we can work, and we really work well together. I mean, we're kind of like brother and sister in that way at the same time because we do fight about things. Like I might have my opinion on something, and he has something totally different, but we do come together with it as well. So it works out. Some days are hard, and other days are really, really not hard, and they're a lot of fun. It's always changing, always different. I think that's probably the thing that I love the most about working at the club. It's totally different from what I started with before I moved here.
Well, yeah, let's back up a second. So I know you were Dan's student, but what basically made you transition into being the club manager at Eagles Nest for Dan? How'd that go?
Dan called me one day and he says, "We're going to start a club." And I think my mouth fell open. I was on the phone with him. I was in Michigan. He goes, I need you to come work for me. What's it going to take? And that's kind of
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
where it started.
Wow.
That, and she was coming down every weekend. And
Yeah, from
we
the
were
beginning.
cutting down trees, burning. We burnt piles of, for you tree huggers, you wouldn't like us.
Well, yeah, I mean, that whole course is mostly wooded. So, I mean, obviously you had to clear all the cart paths. You had to clear all the stations. I mean, we saw it just when we got started. I mean, you had a bunch of stuff cleared, but since then you've cleared even more.
And that was me and her. I mean, we did all
That's work.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. Most of it was in the winter. We had a good time. You know, you're out there in a sweatshirt with the fire going, and it's 30 degrees. And
Yeah.
we were just having a good time. We enjoy. I'm demanding. We work hard. I make sure she works hard. I know I'm not always the easiest to work for, but man, we enjoy what we do. And I know
it shows.
I know she does too. There's no doubt in my mind.
It shows. I mean, your club shows it.
We share the same passion for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the word, I think. You know, we both have the same passion for this sport, just like you guys. I want to say right now, I really appreciate what you're doing because you can hear the passion from you guys.
Well, we love it. I mean, we got hooked on it, and we're like, well, how can we help other people get into this sport? You know, I mean, that's what this whole thing's been about. So.
And I think that's awesome.
Well, hey, we've got some more questions here, and I want to follow right back up with that when we come back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come right back. RE Ranger, you can't hit what you can't see. With 14 clay sight lenses manufactured by Carl Zeiss Vision, Ranger lenses add target clarity and contrast no matter the lighting condition. Visit reranger.com for all your shooting eyewear needs. Free shipping and returns in the U.S. on orders of $90 or more. And if you use the code DEADPAIR at checkout, you will save 10% off your order. See it further, see it faster, see it with precision with RE Ranger. American-made Atlas traps are made right here in Kansas and feature the finest quality, innovation, and support in the business. Atlas traps are made using aircraft-quality aluminum and stainless steel to ensure your traps will outlast the competition.
So whether you're an individual needing a private trap for practice and recreation, or a club needing to outfit your entire facility, family-owned and operated Atlas Traps can suit all your needs.
Visit atlastraps.com to see the full line of commercial and recreational traps and accessories. With prices that won't make you see red and quality that won't leave you feeling blue, Atlas has the finest equipment available. All right, everyone, we're back. Thank you to Bear Pelt. Remember, at Bear Pelt, it's not just your vest, it's your new uniform. All right, so we left off, Dan. I want to circle back to this question. Growth in the sport. It's a tricky subject. Everybody's got a different answer. What do you see that's something that can be done or needs to be done to help grow the sport?
Oh, I don't know. Like you said, I don't think there's a right answer, but there needs to be an answer somewhere, I guess. I think the main thing is, yeah, we need to grow the sport, but we can't lose what we have too.
Right.
I'm afraid that we lose with what's going on with ammo, and this is an expensive game.
It is.
So we need to grow it, yes, but how do we keep the ones we have? The fringe guys that show up once a month. How do we get them to come 4 times a month and not lose them to not coming at all? I really don't know the answer. You can't really make the game cheaper.
Right.
I don't have a good answer. I really don't. Maybe Christina has a better idea of what it would be. I don't.
What do you think, Christina?
Well, I would say it comes down to the current shooter now, introducing new people to the shooting world. Invite a friend who's never done it before. Or maybe they have, and you should invite them more often. Don't just invite them once a month. Invite them every time you go out. Eventually, maybe they'll start coming a little more often and grow and love it just as much as what we do.
Absolutely.
You know, another thing, too, is Sean and I are constantly encouraging people to shoot tournaments. Back when Sean and JD and I were just playing around with this, we had stepped away from the sport for so long, and then we came back to it. We were just weekend warriors, just playing around. We'd go shoot around, right? And one morning we were at breakfast, and I said, you know, I think I want to shoot some registered targets. And they looked at me like I had something growing out of my head. And I said, guys, let's go try it. But I think the persona from the guy that just wants to go shoot around with his buddies on the weekend, the persona from those people is that's reserved for the pros, or that's reserved for the upper guys, and it's not that. I mean, there's a class for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's this weird barrier there to where they're afraid to do it. Maybe they don't know the rules. And I would encourage anybody that is competing, if you've got that buddy, let's take him along with us for a tournament, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see what this is like, because to us, once we got started shooting tournaments, that's when, you know, and I've told this story 100 times. I'll never forget me, Sean, and JD, we got done with our first tournament. We looked at each other, and it was like, uh-oh. Two things just happened. Number one, we realized we are nowhere near the level we thought we were. And number two, we're hooked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our wives are in trouble on Sundays because we're not going to be at home. We're going to be at a tournament somewhere.
Right.
And, you know, and that's what started this. I mean, it really is. And I think if more people caught that bug, I think it would help the sport. Maybe I'm wrong, you know?
No, I think the biggest thing that really attracted me personally to the sport, as far as once you get into registered shooting, it's the competition.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it gives you something to chase versus just going out with your buddies and you're always shooting the same guys and, you know, the scores are close to the same every time. You know, when you go out to shoot a tournament, you get to shoot with all kinds of different people that maybe not even be from your area, but could be from out of state, you know, and it just kind of gives you a gauge to measure yourself against. And hey, let's face it, winning's cool.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, we used to all throw in $10, and it was great collecting all that money from Sean and JD every weekend. But
His story,
when you
not the truth, but it's a story.
But when you get into the tournament scene, you know, you don't know who these guys are that you're competing against, and then it's like, I want to go beat that guy.
Yeah. Well, and then you get to know him, and then you really want to beat him.
Then you get to know him, and it's like, man, that guy's, you know, I thought he was a jerk because he beat me by 10 targets last weekend, but I just met him, and he's really cool, and now I really want to kick his butt. You know? So it's just, I don't know. I think maybe that needs to be pushed a little bit more.
I think competition is the reason we shoot registered, right? It's,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But I think you guys are missing the point on trying to beat somebody. You're trying to beat the target setter, not that guy.
Yeah, no, right.
We
Because
learned that early
if you
on.
beat the target setter, you'll beat that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but you still have people that like you compare yourself to, you know,
Right.
that you
Yeah.
know, and you're like, you know, hey, good shooting today or whatever. You beat me by 2 birds or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the camaraderie.
Well, speaking
of
of
it
that,
all.
Yeah.
speaking of that, Dan, we've became friends and everything, and I really appreciate you, and I sincerely do. So I hope you don't take this wrong. But speaking of being the target setter, your name has been everything but Dan Bailey at tournaments, because I've learned that it's like I'm gonna beat this guy, and then at the end of it, it's like he beat me again, you know. And so that's a good point, Dan. No,
Well,
I mean, you're beating the target setter, not your buddies.
Well, my wife had a hard time adjusting to that because she's like, why are they all cussing you? And I said, well, you're taking that all wrong. She said, well, she's German, so she didn't quite understand it. I said, if they're not cussing me, I didn't do my job.
Right.
I
That's
said,
true.
and the only people that are going to come up to me and say how great it was are the ones that won.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other ones are going home cussing me.
I hate Dan.
Now we just got to hope they come back that I didn't beat them up too bad.
Well, you beat them in a good way, though. I mean, you don't throw the on edge 100-mile-an-hour target.
But you get the guys like Sean and I. We want to come back that week and work on those targets.
That's the whole point, too.
Yep.
That's another way how the club makes money. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, circling back, Christine, I got a question for you. Before we get into more stuff here, let's talk about shooting goals. Personal shooting goals. What do you have on your bucket list? What are you trying to accomplish? Can you share?
Yeah. I'm really, really competitive. So, I mean, I have a list of people that I would like to beat. It's not, you know, obviously it's not just Dan Bailey anymore.
That's because she
Check,
beats me
check,
every weekend.
I mean, nationals, a national championship would be awesome. The pinnacle of shooting, a FITASC world championship. I mean, I have some big goals. I have some little goals too. But yeah, definitely the bigger ones would definitely be nationals and FITASC. And
Dan, before we ask you the same question, it has to be somewhat gratifying knowing that your student is beating you from time to time. That has to be gratifying because you taught her how to do that, right?
Absolutely. I'm ready to retire from sporting clays altogether and just watch her because she beats me every time we shoot it.
No, that's not true.
But it is. I don't even know how to explain it because I've never had kids, so I don't know if I would explain it. But yes, and she's so close to getting those goals she just talked about that I'm just waiting for it because it's right there. It's within her grasp, and it's just a matter of when everything's going to click.
Right.
And it's coming soon.
Yeah, it's that the aha moment, the light switch, or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's hitting that final step that
Right. And
it all clicks.
And she's within a half a step of being right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you talk about not having kids, whatever, and this is just a silly little story, but I have a 9-year-old little girl, and I'm teaching her gun safety and all this other stuff. And we're starting off with a BB gun and all, but I was working with her, and she got to the point where she can, like, religiously every time hit the can, with the BB gun, and she got to laughing so hard. Every time she'd hit, she'd boom, ting, and she'd yell, "Dead pair." How do you not laugh at something like that? But it's what I'm talking about with gratification. I'm not a coach, okay? I'm nowhere near the level to ever dream of being a coach, but I have helped a couple buddies of ours that would come out to the house and we'd practice together, and you could see what they're doing drastically wrong. And it's like, okay, listen, I'm not your coach or anything, but this is what I'm seeing, and you help them, and then they start smacking that target every time, and the look on their face, it's a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, the light bulb comes on.
Yeah. But as somebody that helped them, you kind of feel accomplished a little bit, So,
yeah.
What about you, Dan? What's your bucket list? There's got to be something left on the bucket list. Now, you're not putting that Zolly in the closet just yet.
My focus has been so much on the gun club that I really don't have any, and it shows. Because without goals, you'll never reach anything. So,
right.
I haven't won the Nationals FITASC at the Nationals. I'd like to do that.
Okay.
And a top 10 at the World FITASC would be awesome, but I don't know if I'll ever see that. And it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm so happy with what I'm doing. Shooting is third or fourth on my list of things with this sport. I love working with the kids. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I have a couple of young guys that are just phenomenal to work with that I really get pleasure out of that. It's like when Christina was 6 years ago when I started working with her. You're right. It's very gratifying.
I can only imagine. I mean, when I was way back in the day when I was fooling around with motocross, I'd see a dad out there that he just bought his kid a bike and he doesn't know crap, and I could see the kid making all these horrible mistakes. And I'll never forget, I heard a kid one time say, "I want to do what he's doing." And I turned around and he's pointing at me. And I went over and I started working with the kid. And I said, "Well, let me tell you some things I'm seeing you're doing wrong. First of all, let's get our elbows up." And, and then started working with just a little bit. And his dad came over and he's thanking me and everything. He's like, I really appreciate that because I really don't know. And I'm like, you need to get him with a good coach. Because there is coaches in that too.
Oh, yeah.
And then I turn around and I look, and this kid is just ripping this little 65 through this corner. And he's doing everything I told him to do. His elbows are up and his foot's out and his finger's on the clutch. And he comes back in, and this kid, you could see through his helmet, he was grinning ear to ear. And he's like, Dad, did you see what I did? And that was like, he's not my kid. I don't even know who he is, and he just stole my heart. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and so I can only imagine with shooting, helping these kids and seeing them turn big numbers. I mean, I think of some of the people here locally, the younger shooters, and some of the stuff they're doing now. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
And you have to be proud, Dan. You have to be.
I am. It's so much fun to watch how good these kids can be in such a short amount of time with somebody coaching.
Yeah.
They're like sponges.
Oh, yeah.
It's and some of them have played baseball their whole life since they were 9 years old. Mm-hmm. And then you put a shotgun in their hands and they go, "Oh, wait, this is the same idea. Eyes, hands.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this." And then you start teaching them what they really need to do, and they just go, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And I mean, I've stood back so many times and go, "You have no reason to hit that target." And they make it look easy.
Wow.
Yeah, the young ones, they can definitely frustrate you. I know me and Sam LaCroix have had kind of a jab going back and forth at each other for many years. It's like
that would be one of them.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
That kid can shoot now.
Yep.
That kid can shoot. Hey, well, listen, we've got a thing we do called Questions for the Coaches. And with both of you being in studio, we sent a thing out here a little while back, and we got some really good questions. Sean, why don't you take the first question?
Okay. Who should I address it to?
Either one. You know what? I want to hear both their answers.
Okay. All right. I'll let Christina go first. Ladies first. Okay, our first question. A young shooter, 15 to 16 years old. I've been shooting for about a year. I have solid fundamentals. I know how to read the targets very well. However, competition scores suffer by at least 10 birds because they're focused on the score. So even the first couple misses causes the wheels to fall off, even though at the end of the day they know they are at an 80, 85 shooter normally. But the fact that they lost 15 to 20 birds, yet the first few cause the implosion to drop even more birds than they should. How do you coach them to focus on the process and let go of the missed targets?
They really just need to run their plan. One target at a time. Dan used to tell me that all the time. It's one target at a time. Run through your plan and then execute.
Okay.
If you do that, then you'll hit the target.
Dan, anything you want to add to that?
It's just so easy for young kids to look at the goal, the score. I got to shoot a 90 today. Well, maybe you don't. And they're too focused on the score. They'll never get there if they're focused on the score. They need really Christina just said, one at a time. And then they'll add up and they'll have the score. There's a lot of pressure on these kids.
Sure.
And it's no different than T-ball or Little League, like we were talking about a little bit. The parents are all there going, oh, come on, son. And they feel that pressure. And once they can relax, and we've had this with some of our kids too, there's a lot of pressure from the parents. They just got to do one at a time.
Yeah.
Focus on that target at that time. When that one's dead, move your eyes to the next one, kill the next one. Just the process.
Gotcha.
It takes time. It's a learned mental ability.
We had another question from Jason Woods, and he asks, in regards to mounting the gun, is it better to have it high on the shoulder or low in the pocket? I have seen guns mounted low and the shooter's head goes down to the gun, i.e. Kevin to Michael. Kevin's not a fair assessment here, Jason, but what do you think, Dan?
I'm a low in the pocket shooter, so it all comes down to where your eye is in relationship to the barrel and what you're used to. Some people mount the gun high, and that's what they get used to. It becomes, you know, even if you shoot a low rib or a high rib, my gun, I never even get my chin touches the stock. My cheek never gets close. But I'm used to that. I'm used to that relationship between the gun and my eye and my hands. So I don't have an answer for that, but you have to be comfortable.
Right.
If you're not comfortable with that gun, you will never shoot it well. Whether you're high in the pocket or low in the pocket, you need to be comfortable. Relaxed, comfortable. That's it, because we see all types.
Right.
You know, you can break a target many different ways, but you need to be comfortable.
Christina, you got anything to add to that?
I'm in the pocket. I'm pretty secure in the pocket. If I'm really high on the shoulder or really low, chances are the gun doesn't fit me and I need to change something, pitch or whatnot. Women have a big issue with that, especially if they're shooting a gun that's made for a guy versus a lady. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's a nice soft spot for a pocket, and I do get my head on the gun. I don't cram my head in the gun by any means. It's just a light, cheek mount. But it comes down to gun fit, I think, a lot of times.
Yeah, with women, pitch is so important. I know we worked really hard with her guns that she's had over the years to get the pitch right.
Really?
For her to be comfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good when you're, getting bruised in the cheek.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine.
And we know why, anatomy-wise, but for women, it's real important. Guys can shoot almost any gun. A good shooter can shoot any gun you hand him. It doesn't matter if it fits because he trusts his eyes and hands.
Okay. Hey, speaking of which, this person brought up Kevin to Michael. Did you see he went back to a high rib?
Yeah, because that's what he's comfortable with. It makes total sense. He was going to go back to one when we were in Georgia.
Yeah, he was talking about it.
He was talking about it, and that's what he's comfortable with. Like I've shot a low rib my whole life, 34-inch, almost for 20 years. That's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I'm used to seeing.
Okay.
It's hard to go back. I mean, Kevin's shot a long time. Kevin's a damn good shooter. To switch to a flat rib, in his career now, I didn't understand why he did it.
Well, it's kind of like Tom C. He went from Perazzi to Krieghoff, and he just wasn't comfortable. His confidence wasn't there, and he went back to Perazzi.
And it was probably more comfortable than confidence, because then once you're comfortable, the confidence will come.
Yeah, I think once you step into that upper line of gun, I don't think it had anything to do with, mechanical issues or anything. I think it was just more of a comfort thing.
Right, I agree.
I mean, they're two different fitments, two different feels.
Your gun should feel like you're at home with it.
Right.
It's an extension of you.
Yeah, if it doesn't feel that way, get to a gun fitter.
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah. One of the things that I wish was a little bit different about my gun was a palm swell. I've mounted other guns that have more of a palm swell, and that's comfortable to me. And mine doesn't have. The rest of the gun feels good. The balance, the feel. I just wish I had that palm swell a little bit.
Well, people don't realize how much that right hand is important for comfort and fit. My gun was done by Tom Smith.
Okay.
And when he first shaped out the stock, and I went up to his place, we were shooting. He's got a 5 stand in his backyard. The comb was super high, probably a 1/4 inch too high. He said, "Relax, Dan, I got this." And we went back in the shop, and he's getting my hand comfortable, and all he's shaping is where my hand's placed on the stock. We go back out. That comb's the right height.
Wow.
So what you just said was the same thing I just said a few minutes ago. Go find a gun fitter, because your hand's probably uncomfortable and you need to change it. That comb, we never took any more wood off that comb that day.
Looks like Jason's going for custom stock.
No. No. Listen.
As much as you guys love this game, what are you waiting on? You have a bunch of good ones.
That's a good question, Jason. What are you waiting on?
My wife edits these, and she's going to hear this, and she knows what a custom stock costs.
It's just money.
She'll probably edit this part out.
Yes, yeah. She will not want it in my memory bank.
Other than coaching, it'll be the best money you spend.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about it. I honestly have. I thought about doing a pattern stuff. The wood on my gun's gorgeous. I really don't want to change it, but
you can buy another piece. I have a couple blanks at the club. Well,
the reason why I haven't is right now I'm on this. Don't laugh at me, but I'm on a diet kick right now, and I have a goal by October that I'm going to be down another 20. I've already lost 15. I'm headed for another 20, and I don't think it's right to even fathom something with a fitting until that's done. Dan, you just lost a bunch of weight, so you can attest to this, right?
He doesn't put his head on the gun.
And my gun didn't change at all.
No, it didn't.
But am I right, though? I mean, am I right to wait? I mean,
I'm telling you, it's comfort. What are you going to do? Go to Gary Greenwood?
Jim?
Jim, good. I'm sorry, Jim. Yeah, I mean,
I was wanting to, yeah.
Go to him. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing.
It's only money, Jay.
He'll pick out a beautiful piece of wood to be even prettier.
Jules, I love you, babe. Do you understand the peer pressure I deal with now? This is why I spend money in sport. Sean's poking me right now.
Poking at you.
So,
what are friends for?
Right. But, okay, hey, all right, listen, moving on. We do this thing called rapid fire questions. Christina, you ready?
Okay.
We're going to start with you.
All right.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're not doing anything over there. You're just sitting there playing with your phone. So
okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just here as a pretty face. That's all I am.
Oh God!
And if that's the case, we're all in big trouble.
Your lie. You can tell it any way you want.
All right. Shut up. Here we go.
Yes.
Christina, what gun do you shoot?
A Yildiz Pro Star.
And what barrel length?
32.
Ported or non-ported?
Non-ported.
And factory chokes or aftermarket?
Custom chokes, Miles Batovic.
Okay.
Batovic chokes.
All right. And what are your go-to constrictions for like sporting?
I shoot modified a lot.
Okay.
Light modified if I don't shoot modified.
And do you change out like significantly when you shoot FITASC or not really?
No, I'm not much of a choke changer.
Okay, gotcha. Shells.
I shoot for Fiocchi USA, and I like the Little Rhino, the paper Little Rhino 1250 feet per second, 1 ounce.
7.5 or 8s?
I shoot both 7.5s and 8s.
You just made Chad Roberts very happy.
Oh, they're an awesome shell.
All right, how about glasses?
I am currently wearing the RE Rangers. But I just recently purchased some Pilas. I'm excited to try those out. We haven't gotten our lenses yet.
Okay, gotcha. How about ear protection?
Custom molded.
Okay. And then are you vest or shell bag?
I'm a vest. Okay,
and what kind?
Castellani.
All right. You want to take Dan?
We're going to have to get her in a bear pelt vest.
Well,
Alcantara on the shoulder, I'm telling you, and that vest might be pretty good.
All right, Eric, do you hear that, buddy? Come on, we got to help her scroll out here. All right, Dan, gun.
Solely.
30, well, you said 34 inch.
34.
Okay, ported?
No.
All right, stock, custom stock or factory stock?
Tom Smith, custom stock.
Tom Smith. And chokes?
Miles Badovic chokes.
Do you have a go-to constriction or?
22,000s.
Okay, shells?
BMP, 1,300 F2s.
7.5, 8s?
Either.
Really? So you switch back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
Glasses?
Pila.
And ear protection?
ESP.
Vest or shell bag?
Castellini.
Okay. All right. Again, Eric, are you listening? He needs a bear pelt.
Right.
So
get on it.
We're gonna get both of you in bear pelts. Listen, Eric.
I don't know. Those Castellani vests are super comfortable, though.
Yeah. Well, you can buy 3 bear pelts for the price of. Never mind. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm gonna be nice. So, but no, seriously though, we do love those vests. It's Eric and his wife Heather. We love the backstory on that. He's a hardworking guy. He came up with a great idea, and I wish him the best. I really do.
I think he does have a great idea.
Yeah.
And we met him, too, in Georgia, and we thought they were fantastic.
Yeah.
As the weather's been getting hotter, I've been enjoying the practice vest more than the game day vest. It breathes better. It's cooler. And
he just sent me the new my new vest. I had some things put on the back of it. But anyway, I got that fade to blue. Mm-hmm. Man, that's neat.
Yep.
So anybody listening, if you haven't checked this out, you need to go to bearpelt.com, BAREPELT.com. Check this out, man. You can completely customize a vest for you with your own sponsors. Anything you want, anything you could dream up, you need to check it out for sure.
And by the way, me and Jason get the biggest kick when guys come up to us at shoots and they've got a bear pelt vest on, and somewhere on there they got a Dead Pair logo. That's just the coolest thing ever.
That is, it's humbling.
It is, and apparently they got it on there, and a lot of people get it. So that's really cool.
So I'm waiting to see when Dan and Christina have bear pelt on.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe
Dead Pair.
Maybe we'll come to that. Maybe we'll come to that one day.
We're getting there. They're both snickering and looking at each other. So
yeah, that's all right.
All right. Well, hey, the two of you have a big shoot coming up.
A couple, yeah.
Yeah, let's go over those.
Let's talk about this, Christina.
Our first tournament coming up in July is our big FITASC and Sporting Championship tournament, open to the public. It's July 8th through the 11th. And we'll run a 150 target FITASC, 200 target sporting. There will be a 100 target sporting prelim, 50 target 28 gauge FITASC, and then we're also running a 50 target 12, 20, 28, and 410 sporting.
Awesome. And Dan, you were telling me about the giveaway.
The giveaway. Yeah, we're going to give away, we consider the FITASC or the 200 bird sporting the main events.
Okay.
So if you enter either one of them or both, you get an entry into, you'll win. The first prize is 6 cases of Evo game board, a hat, a shirt from Eagle's Nest, a gun bag, a shell
gun
bag.
sleeve, a shell bag.
From Wild Hair.
Yep.
And then second place is 4 cases of ammo, same thing.
Wow.
And then we're also, of course, as always, sponsoring raffle guns. So we're giving away a Z Sport 32-inch adjustable comb.
Wow.
So that'll be raffled off $50 a ticket. Don't have to be present to win. What else we have going on?
You have another big shoot after that.
Oh, yeah. We do.
That's another exciting one. That's the Junior U.S. FITASC Championship.
First ever.
That is so cool.
So it runs during SCTP Nationals. It'll be July 15th, 16th, and 17th. You can shoot either one of those days. It's a 100 target FITASC. Trophies, they're buckles.
Really nice buckles.
Really nice buckles. But it's the first ever for Junior U.S. FITASC.
It's for junior. It's for junior only.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So different age groups. It's all based off of your grade or collegiate.
Cool.
Okay. So, okay, collegiate. So clear
Yeah,
up into
even
college.
yep.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow. Really cool. Do either one of you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to add?
Well, I will say that our tournaments coming up wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. And those sponsors include Wild Hair, Promatic, Stanley Steamer, Zoli, White Flyer, Burger King Miller Management, Capital Equities, Zarley Excavating, Next Lift, and Game Bore.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear they've at least got one of our sponsors in there.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's that's very cool. I think, I know each one of the sponsors you guys have, and it's really cool how everybody wants to be involved and help out with their cool club. And I think it's great what you guys are doing. And listen, anybody that's listening to this, even though you may not be from the Ohio area, do yourself a favor. Come over here and shoot at Eagle's Nest. You're doing yourself an injustice by not checking out this club. It's one of the prettiest clubs in the Midwest, and I think you're going to be glad you made the effort to get over and check out.
Yeah, and not to mention that, but Dan throws just fantastic, quote-unquote, world-class targets.
Well, listen, when David Radulovich, world champion, is on Facebook last year bragging about the targets we're about to shoot at Eagle's Nest. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I've won world championships in FITASC, and I'm telling you, these targets are second to none.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty high praise.
Yeah.
That was very kind of him.
Hey, website, social media, where can people find you?
We are on Facebook, Eagles Nest Sporting Grounds. We have a website, eaglesnestsportinggrounds.com. Of course, email's the same at Gmail. And, check our website out. It tells all about our clubs. Our club, new pictures of the clubhouse, the additions. We have some new shoot houses, upcoming tournaments. It's all listed on there.
Awesome. And then both of you are you booked up, or do you have availability for coaching?
We are super busy right now. We try to get as much coaching in as possible, but it's really hard right now, especially with the big tournament coming up.
Yeah.
So really, we don't really have any availability until probably August.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be end of July, August.
Okay. But if somebody wanted to come take a lesson from you, they can get a hold of you.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
absolutely.
can schedule something out. Okay,
course.
cool. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Alley?
No, I think this has been great. Two of our favorite people as far as going to shoot at their local club. Great information.
I know you've got to sit back and play on your phone all night while I run a podcast. That's great.
That's what I'm here for, buddy. That's what I'm here for.
I'm just kidding you. Hey, it's tough love around here,
Oh, trust me, it's tough. It's
Dan
really
and Christina have got to see it firsthand.
tough. It's tough not to throw things at you from time to time.
That's what I'm here for. Hey, I put out false information and, all that kind of good stuff.
That's
so.
you.
Hey, it's not much, but I do what I can. So, but anyway, hey, listen, next week on the Dead Pair podcast, we have got a gun manufacturer coming on, so y'all stay tuned. We also have another pro shooter coming on with them. So we will see you next week on
The Dead Pair podcast.